version. No experts, no insiders, just fans.
Transmission from Marked Out Wrestling Podcast begins in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Begin broadcast.
Welcome to Tuesday Night SmackDown. I am your host, Adam Baum, the Jew that leads the crew. And this is the show that is apparently too hot for YouTube, too hot for WWE. It is the Marked Out Podcast Tuesday night version. Joining me tonight, I have the usual, maybe Medine. What's going on, my friend?
It is the man in black himself tonight, Mr. Maybe Medine.
Can you talk faster ever?
Maybe not. I mean, maybe it's a
And
possibility.
you're stealing my line. I mean is my line.
Hey, well,
Also joining us, because I can't rely on it ever just being us. I brought Stone Age Steve Awesome.
I mean, at least you just brought one person this time.
Capacity. And yeah.
Support capacity?
Capacity.
You're like an athletic supporter?
But in the anticipation that you weren't going to book anyone, because I kind of figured, hey, you know what? Maybe I caught him off guard after the holidays. You
can't catch me off guard.
Hey, yes, I did, because I brought somebody with me.
Wait, you have somebody?
Yeah.
I didn't know you had any kind of pull at all.
I
ever,
do.
Anywhere.
Yep, I sure do. So on the fan line right now is Brendan King. Brendan, let us know what's going on in your area of the Marked Out universe.
What's going on, everybody? How's everybody doing?
We're doing good. Medine's pulling a little curveball here on me, but I welcome new opinions all the time, contrary to popular belief.
And I'm wondering if Noah's already asked the question on the chat board.
Oh, God.
Who's on the board, by the way? I don't have access.
Oh, yeah. I got it. Well,
how am I supposed to read that?
I got to do the board? Really?
I can't even see that.
I got to do everything.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, you can't even see that.
I saw Teddy Hart was here. Noah's here, a.k.a. Wet Harmonica now. Teddy Hart, of course, is Teddy Hart.
All right, so Brandon's
Squad is here. John Estrada, quit cutting me off. I'm trying to intro our fans.
Right.
And
Hurry up.
others on the board as well. I fucking talk way faster than you. Don't even give me any shit. What are you trying to say now? Go ahead and interrupt.
Nothing.
What? Jesus
At all.
Christ. I hate you tonight already. We're like 4 minutes in, not even.
Can we talk about wrestling, please?
We're like 3 minutes into the show and you've already pissed me off.
Anyway, Brandon, which women on the roster would you bang? That's your favorite.
Really?
Hey, I'm just asking the question for the board already.
All right,
or you can phrase it as, who's your favorite female wrestler?
Yeah. Since you're married, you don't have to necessarily say bang.
Exactly.
My favorite female wrestler doesn't have to be WWE. It can be just the sport in general.
I guess
absolutely,
it could be the sport in general.
wherever.
Because I will be very honest with you, no one has impressed me more this year than Tony Storm.
Oh,
yeah,
not one person.
If Brian was
even
here,
with the Mae Young Classic, not one has impressed me more. Give or take Io or Kyrie, but Tony has been the one, and I'm absolutely digging her.
Okay.
She's like a young Edge.
if Brian were here, Brennan,
feeling her.
yeah, if Brian was here, he would go crazy because he would be right there with you. That's one of his chicks. He of course has like 10 chicks though, so maybe it's
make up his mind.
Yeah, it is what it is. So anyway, Medine, you wanted to get it going? Well, here we go.
What you need to make a good SmackDown is your 3 key ingredients.
So tonight we had a lot of stuff to shit on, or as Medine says, he thought it was a good show. So we got 4 ingredients, not 3. We gotta reach out to Grandma Awesome and get another recording, Stone Age.
I'll see what I can do.
Just get one without the 3, or have our executive producer get off his ass and actually make a sound effect that's updated. In any event, number 1, Kendo out of nowhere. Number 2, new talent, same booking. Number 3, Mojo Rising. Number 4, Mahald.
Number 1.
Oh, that wasn't loud enough. I fucked up.
Number 1.
Number 1, Kendo Out of Nowhere. We're getting right into the nitty gritty. I know this was the main event, but that was a pretty good no DQ match between KO and Randy. It was set up last week.
Pretty damn hardcore.
Right, and it was set up. Oh, he's so angry at you guys for the Survivor Series thing. We had to send him home last week. So it was set up right. I like the payoff. Medine, what's your first take on it?
The first take on the match itself was before even the weapons were introduced, they had good ring chemistry between the two of them. I liked it. The back and forth between the two. One got
Randy
some new
wants
moves.
to go, he can go.
Yeah, oh yeah, and exactly when he has somebody that's interesting to him, it's intriguing.
You think that's it?
Yeah, it's a new experience for him.
Because
So, yeah,
I feel like it's a light switch with him. When he wants it on, it's on. When
Yeah.
it doesn't, he doesn't.
it's true, and I
It's
think
damn
that
true.
that stems from being too familiar with some of the talent, and him and Kevin Owens haven't necessarily worked together all that much on television, and so they're giving the fans they're watching a good show before they even got to the weapons, and then once they did, they went crazy. Brandon, what do you think? What did you think once
Brandon,
the?
Brandon, before I go to you, because I want to segue with Noah's comment on the board. He says, "Why would you ban Sammy from ringside when the match is no DQ?" I would guess because we don't want to make it a handicap.
Right.
And Stykeleather says, "Well, you know, when he said Sammy was banned, he was going to interfere." Well, he didn't go by ringside,
Right.
technically, so
He obeyed the
he
rules.
wasn't at ringside. Brandon, what do you think about that?
Excuse me. I think it was an average match, average main event. You can't really have very high expectations when I hear a no disqualification match of something like Owens and Orton. Your typical sticks, chairs. It was just a very average match. With Sammy getting involved, and just like you said, we knew from the offset that once they said Sammy was not going to be allowed at ringside, they were going to have something where Sammy was going to once again save Owens and be the quote-unquote guardian angel.
Right.
Even though we can see it coming from a mile away that Sammy's going to get tired of bailing Owens out of every
Oh, yeah.
situation, and
It's almost
strangely
That's
we
the-
don't bring up
KO and
how
Jericho's
last week.
relationship.
Absolutely. I would
Mirrored.
put my money on that. Stevie, what did you think about all the kendo shots? Those were for real.
Those are for real. Yeah, I mean, they went at it at least. And Orton's
Randy laid into him.
notorious for being in matches like that. But Owens, I'm
But a lot
not
of
used
the-
to seeing him taking these kind of bumps.
But a lot of these guys, what I hear from the backstage and the rumors in the dirt sheets is that these guys okay it with each other ahead of time. Like, lay into me. If you're going to fucking hit me with a kendo stick, lay into me.
Make it look real.
Which
And
makes me
it was
upset about my next point that I'm going to go back to you, Medine, with, is when Sammy did come out, those are the weakest fucking chair shots I've ever seen anyone deliver on any limb. I know they're working the quad or whatever, but come on.
Swing and a miss.
Right? Well, you swing
Or
and
that
not
actually,
connect.
no, you know what that was? That was when, you get that lollipop softball pitch and you're trying to hit it out of the park and instead you swing too hard and you get under it and you end up popping out the short or some shit like that. Yeah. Oh, the high, way up in there pop. That's what that was. He was trying to swing for the fences and he realized, he stopped at
I
the last
just want to
second.
get a signal.
Yeah, like
Like
I don't know
check
what he was
swing?
doing. Maybe
It
Vince
looked
was,
like a check swing to
Vince
be a
was prob-
baseball analogy.
If it was a check swing, yeah. It sure was. It was definitely not a full swing. He was soft liner to second on that type of shit.
From the board, we got a couple comments. Noah says that KO and Orton mesh well together. He'd love to see them do more matches. And he also says that Brandon sounds like a southern version of Undertaker. I guess that's a compliment.
Right?
Well, first of all, you're gonna have to excuse me just a little bit. I've been a little bit under the weather for the past couple days.
Hey,
so
me and you both,
maybe,
man.
That's
I know.
a small part of it, but I do have that deep kind of thing going on. But Taker's a Southern guy too, though. He's Texas,
That's right.
and I'm North Carolina, so
North
I take that as a
Cackalack.
compliment for sure.
Let's go on now to this.
Number 2.
Number 2, I just wanted to point this out. This doesn't have to be a long topic here. It really shouldn't. But I called this one New Talent, Same Booking, and it's kind of a double entendre. It's new talent, same booking, because this is what Raw is doing with their new 3 women faction. But also, what do we do with them? Let's stick them in a 6-women tag match like we've done all the time. We finally got some new blood on the roster to set up new rivalries and stuff, but we just are changing out the parts of a 6-women tag match every fucking week. I'm so over it. Does anybody want to even talk about this further? Because I just wanted to put this in there so I could bitch once again about it.
I didn't like either promo.
Nope. Dumpster fire.
Yeah. That was to be that starts it off.
The
in-ring
NXT
action
girl promo was kind of entertaining, but in a weird way, not good.
I'm a firecracker about to pop.
And the other one talking about big game hunting.
Yeah, I got 3 big game trophies coming up, and our name is the fucking Riot Squad.
The Riot Squad.
Fucking
Right,
fuck you, WWE. You're gonna ban us for shit. Well, guess what? Bomb Squad. You're stealing my shit. Fuck you. My point about this, and Brandon, you're new, so I'll segue this to you. This is a talented women's roster, and they do this shit instead of trying to book them. If they book them, have them one-on-one and just not out there every week.
Different storylines.
Yeah.
Between different.
Some storylines away from the belt or away from this invasion type of, storyline. What do you think, Brandon?
I fully agree with you. I've been a fan of Sarah Logan since she was Crazy Mary, so I know she's a great worker. And I've been a fan of Ruby since she was Heidi. So I'm glad to see those 2 on the main roster. Liv Morgan, thumbs down right now because she just does not fit in. But in terms of the booking of this, I wouldn't have done the whole 6-man thing because you're clearly copying and pasting from Raw. And if you want to be a separate brand, that's not the way to go about it. You need to have someone like Ruby facing Charlotte one-on-one, or having Sarah go in and establish herself against Naomi, or But the whole putting them in the carbon copy 6-man, I mean, I get it. You want to put them over as the Riot Act or Riot Squad or whatever they call it.
Try to squeeze everybody in a short time frame.
But go about it in another way. Instead of
like you said, they could have Ruby fight Charlotte with the other 2 at ringside to set up the finish of a screw job so that Charlotte can lose without really losing face and Ruby can win without ruining her momentum. It doesn't have to be 6 women. You're absolutely right. Cashmere's joining us on the board. The other thing I want to point out here that our executive producer and I were talking about off air is he said it doesn't matter your records and stuff or your TV exposure. When you get called up from NXT, it's because they have a creative angle for you. I get that. And I think that that's fucking great. But if your creative angle is to stick them in the same 6 women bullshit, or your creative angle is to do the same fucking thing on both shows, then that is not a reason to move anybody up. And somebody in this pairing of the new...
You don't want to get called up at that point.
Somebody in the pairing of these new factions is going to get fucking demolished because of this. What are you wanting to do? Why are you here? I have double sounds? This is what happens.
We're twice as good. So,
every time. This is the only way that we'll ever be held back.
Well, the show could over. No, this is a good thing.
It's a good thing?
Yeah, it's a good thing.
So Noah says, then explain Tyler Breeze going from 2 matches with Ziggler to doing nothing for months. Exactly. There is no. You have something right when they come up, but they don't have a long play for you. They're like Ty Dillinger.
Perfect.
Hey, we're going to put you in the Royal Rumble. We're going to have you debut after Mania. And then we don't have anything for you.
Well, speaking of the Royal Rumble, that's the reason why all these women are being introduced to the rosters, that eventually they're going to announce here in the next couple weeks that they're going to do a women's Royal Rumble, probably with 20 women. And how else are you going to get to 20 other than bringing up 6 new chicks? So why give them a real storyline until after the Rumble, or even if they stick around? So, I mean, who knows? That a couple of them might get sent back down.
Number 3.
That was a good end note. Number 3, Mojo Rising. We've been teased it for months, but I think the way I'm going to spin tonight's match was the loser can't be brothers anymore. is the way I want to phrase that, because we had the Bludgeon Brothers
Right.
against the Hype Brothers, or Hype Bros, but technically that's just abbreviated. Now, no more Hype Bros, and the Bludgeon Brothers are still together. The squash was what it was. It was an absolute squash.
Right.
It made sense to set it up there. Do you buy Mojo as a heel, Stevie?
No, I mean, but I never expected Zach to be the one to turn heel either. So
Zach's too over. He always kind of has been.
yeah,
Zach is
So
a team
I
player.
just don't see him. He needs to be part of a faction to make it work. Maybe
Zach
he
does or Mojo?
Mojo.
What could he be part of?
I don't know.
Medine, do you see an angle for Mojo here as a singles wrestler outside of this feud?
Didn't he win the Andre the Giant Battle Royal earlier this year?
Again, that's one of those
Right.
things. Hey, we brought you up for a reason.
And
We
he
got a
took out
creative
Jinder
angle.
in it, wasn't it?
I don't even know.
It was Jinder because he had Gronk's help.
Yeah,
So and
that's
look,
right.
what is
Yeah,
he
they did
doing
the
6
USA
months?
angle.
But I'm saying, look what 7 months later, Jinder's in the main event. Mojo's still twirling around in tag team tornado. You know, it's just that whole division is a kind of a clusterfuck. So now you're breaking up another tag team in order to put them, against each other. Who are you going to put over here, Zach or Mojo? Mojo's doesn't
and the
have
Bludgeon Brothers are going to run through the division
Maybe
anyway.
they
right,
put
but
Zach
Mojo
over
doesn't have
Moore.
any mojo because they killed it 6 months ago.
On the board, Kashmir. I have to go back a second because he just made me laugh. He said, "So the Raw girls get Absolution, and the SmackDown girls get Riot Squad." Somebody in creative is not even trying. It's simple. It's to the point, but he's absolutely right. Brandon, what do you think about Mojo Rising?
This actually surprised me a little bit because I actually expected Zach to be the one that turned heel. But as soon as the interview happened and his back was turned to Mojo, I was like 3, 2, 1.
Yeah.
I was
And
hoping though that Zach
I don't-
turned on Mojo there on that same 3-2-1. I hoped it was Zach that turned and just swung.
That's exactly what I was thinking. But when it happened, I was like, well, because my wife and I was watching it, my wife was like, well, maybe, this will do some good for Mojo because he's been stale since he's been there. I was like, he was stale on NXT, and he got stale when he got brought to the main roster. He won that Andre the Giant thing, and that was the biggest milestone he's had.
But he's
Will
hyped.
he get over as a heel? I give him maybe 3 to 4 weeks before they have nothing else for him. Give him this Zack Ryder feud,
And that's
then he's being lost in the dirt pile.
Yeah.
And that'll be solved. That'll probably be a pre-show match at Clash of Champions because there's
Very well be.
not enough belts to. You're not going to put a championship belt on there. Kashmir says the Andre the Giant Memorial Trophy is just as useless as the U.S. title.
Yeah, Baron Corbin had it. Big deal.
Baron Corbin's had both. Maybe he makes them both useless.
Cesaro had it also.
Cesaro didn't
He was
really.
the first winner, matter of fact.
Cesaro, it's a little unfair unless I'm wrong. And Board, Justin Resides joining us. Board, you can correct me if I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure after Cesaro won it is when he got injured. So he was starting to get a push from it, and then he got put on the shelf for a little while. And I think that's what killed any heat that might have been. Big Show was just there as a token because it's the Andre. Let's give Big Show something. But after that, Mojo and Baron Corbin turned it into nothing. I mean, hell, Baron Corbin has killed everything. He's killed the Andre. He's killed the briefcase. He's now killing the U.S. title. Fuck you, Baron Corbin.
He's just like his entrance theme, how like everything dark black comes over the
title
screen.
killer.
Yeah.
That's what he does.
Number 4, Medine made this title up. Mahald. So we got the Singh brothers. Once they're done getting beaten up by AJ, they're going to get beaten up by Jinder again.
Yeah.
This time a little more vicious, but it
Yep.
wasn't the first time.
No,
So is this a breakup or is this him just beating his cronies again?
I think it's leading towards the breakup. The beatings are
You
getting
think they're
worse.
gonna come out and support him next.
But if he
next
can't
time?
beat AJ with 2 lackeys, he has no fucking chance against him by himself.
The beatings are getting worse. Did you see how he flipped the second Sing?
you think after tonight they're
Yeah, if-
done.
I have a harder time telling them apart than the Usos. At least the Usos have different tats.
Right, Brandon. What did you think of Jinder tonight?
When I saw that, I was like, ooh, Jinder mad. There's no way I will ever take him that seriously of a threat to anything unless they write him to be so. His attack upon the Singh boys, the second guy took a super crazy bump from that whack finisher, but it's
hold up. If you're gonna call that a whack finisher, I got in my notes here that was a high risk, and I put high risk in quotation marks here because a Styles Clash itself is kind of high risk if the guy doesn't
he's
sell
talking. He's not talking about the Styles Clash.
Oh, okay.
What
are you talking about?
The Colossus.
Colossus. Okay.
Yes.
We were about to have some words
let
here.
me make that very, very clear. Not
Okay.
the Styles Clash at all, because that has broken necks.
Right.
But it's obviously written for Jinder to be, to be that threat for the world title going into the Clash. But he'll never sell me on being a believable guy, no matter what he does, no matter what he says. This is
Hart says, and then good for Stike. He says it's actually the women because at least there was a match, unlike Raw. I don't know. Justin Reside, good. Shane and Brian getting on the same page. Yes and no. I read Justin's last because that's going to segue into mine. I have Daniel Bryan. I like that he stood up to Shane. I don't like the battle that he picked. Anybody that has a wife, a spouse, whatever out there knows that you sometimes have to pick your battles. Him picking his battles over two guys who fucked him out of the brand supremacy pay-per-view is not the battle you pick. If it was somebody else, if it was some other way, if it was some other feud, okay. But I just disagreed with the whole, it almost felt like Daniel Bryan was aligning himself with KO and Sammy at times. So
Maybe he is.
I thought it was good that his promo was the way it was because it didn't feel to me like they got on the same page is why I gave it good. And that's going to segue. I've got so many fucking bads on my list here. So
Don't be me.
yeah, I'm going to wait and go last again. And I'm going to read all mine if you guys don't name them. Brandon, you get to go first.
Oh, the bad is going to have to be the main event.
Oh,
You know that
Ooh.
to me,
oh.
it was a very average one. I mean, the shots with the cane and the stick, you know, they were legit. So I mean, it added some, I guess, some legitimacy to the match. But for two talents like Orton and for Owens to be able to for them to be kind of boxed into that kind of match, you know, I was like, there's so much, there's 3, 4, 5 times more better that they can be doing with, you know, than what they're being given to do for this so-called main event. So that's I'm gonna have to give that as my bad, even though that whole segment of the Fashion Files is close.
I got this one for you there, buddy. I couldn't disagree more with so many of those points. I thought for a SmackDown main event, it was one of the better ones. Medine, I'm going to segue to you for bad. Junior Murillo's on the board. He says SmackDown was great. You're the only one in the room that thought SmackDown was great, so I use that as my segue to you.
I didn't say great. I said it was good.
Okay, you did say good. Sorry, I misquoted you.
And but my bad was sorry, ladies. Both locker room promos.
Ninja, please.
I'm sorry. I know the girls are. You know,
I
you're doing things now, but
I don't disagree with you. I got so many on my list here. I'm just waiting for you guys to knock them off. Stevie, you're up next.
My bad was they killed the Ascension. Seemingly killed the Don't
Ascension.
kill the Ascension.
Noah says Ruby Riott getting an extra T in her name for no reason. Cashmere says Ginger's picnic cloth suit. Yeah, that was really weird. Sammy swinging that chair because I think the chair weighed more than Sammy for Stike leather. Bad Naomi possibly getting a concussion on the steel step spot. That was it. Something felt weird about that, Justin. Kev Nola's here. That is our millennial Falcon. And he says, am I from Tennessee? Because I'm the only... Quit. You have a girlfriend. Stop making gay comments to me on the board. Millennial Falcon's over there flirting with me.
and then he's like, "Boom, I'm out."
And that's it. He drops the mic and leaves. What the fuck? All right, so here's my list, and nobody really covered. Stike Leather covered Sammy's chair shots. So my other two that are missed is Baron Corbin just going no and walking the fuck off. Fuck you. And Randy's John Cena haircut. How have we not mentioned this yet? Randy's John Cena haircut.
Bizarro Cena.
What the fuck is he? I was like, did Cena get sleeves? Well, how did this happen?
A movie or something?
Yeah, is he trying out for the Marine Part 7?
That's another one I was thinking of yet.
12 rounds, the sequel. I don't fucking know.
Out of nowhere.
Bad for Cashmere. He says Vince handcuffing Bobby Roode. His promos are so bad on the main roster. I think, and I've said this before, Cashmere, I think Bobby Roode's promos are bad on the main roster because he is not buying into his face character that they're giving him. He belongs as a heel. He's always been a heel. He was briefly a face when he was with Beer Money. And that was more of a faction thing. Because, that tag team they got over. They started off as heels even, but they got over. Bobby from Team Canada to present has always been a heel, and that's why I think he's not buying into it. So his promos seem even worse because somebody else is writing his lines. The whole thing is bad. I give you lots of coins for that one, Cashmere. On next, Glorious, we're going to start with our guest host, Brandon.
Glorious.
Glorious.
Oh my God. I'm not sure.
That's okay.
I can't really give you an answer. There was one or two good segments out of 8 or 9 or 10 or whatever, and there was nothing that was that stimulating to me. I did like the opening segment, like you said, with Daniel kind of standing up to Shane, but
it went downhill from there.
If I can add one more bad that nobody has thought of, and that's the fact that we have not had Nakamura on TV for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
That was one of our former awards that we should probably bring back. The missing
persons. I think that was a Rawsome thing, wasn't it?
No, we'll take it from them.
Yeah.
They don't do anything with it.
Brandon, this one's for you. Steve, before I go to you, I got a sound effect.
Steve, you're on our show.
It's my show.
But you're here now.
Awesome.
Way to talk over everything good, Medine.
You're playing. No, you're playing shit while I'm talking.
Because you don't say anything of worth.
I'm talking to Steve.
Exactly, nothing of worth.
No,
Stevie, what's your
we
Glorious?
weren't talking with you.
There's only one answer for tonight. It's AJ Styles.
It's
man.
AJ fucking Styles. Goddamn right.
I got it right.
There you go. Medine, do you have something different?
No, the Styles Clash.
Styles Clash. Okay.
Oh man, I have no idea what's going on.
Teddy,
you're right. You don't.
That's Teddy's sound effect. Teddy on the board. Teddy Hart 420 says Glorious nothing, and Cashmere says Glorious. The New Day. Did you guys see the kid open his mouth for the Bootios and pancakes came out of the cereal box?
It was a surprise, wasn't
it? Randy using the kendo stick is Glorious for Justin. His face was priceless, Cashmere saying. Stike Leather says, Glorious is Carmen giving birth to our third child in 3 weeks.
Hey,
that is fabulous news. You got so much going on in Stike Leather's life.
Coins there.
And yet he joins us. We feel privileged that you share our time. We're going to go on now, guys. Who booked that? Who booked that? I'm going to kick this one off. The Riot Squad. At least Absolution. Paige is trying to make a point, and that's a name that applies to her whole situation. What the fuck is the Riot Squad? That's not even what you call the cops when they have to put on riot gear. And this is the stupidest, lamest, most uncreative name. I think it was Cashmere that said it on the board earlier, but holy hell.
Quiet Riot's already taken.
Medine, what's your who booked that?
The 3-on-1 booking again. I'll piggyback off of you. Just the fact that they did the same thing 2 weeks in a row, pretty much. They just turned this one into a match where Natty leaves.
Exactly. That's the only difference.
Yeah, Natty leaves. Noemi. Hey, I forgot one Glorious. I guess I'll go back and get buzzed. I don't care. Naomi taking that face bump with the stairs off the slingshot.
Looked real.
It did look real. So it's a good job to her.
I don't know about the whole.
I
we
doubt
got to
that
stretcher her out.
Yeah, right. But
they could have just left her lying there in a
that was a
heroin
good spot, though.
Who booked that for Stike Leather? Wait, I didn't finish you guys. Stevie, what's your
making the New Day sell T-shirts for 50% off. Maybe they could use this. Hey,
Cyber Monday held over for one more day. Brandon, what's yours?
Definitely got to go with New Day. Biggie cosplaying Sasha and singing her song briefly. I was laughing, but it was one of those where it's like, what the fuck is this shit type of laughing.
Yeah, I still like our version of her theme song. Had a dream. You guys know the words in studio.
Yeah.
Who booked that? Mojo turning 2 months too late is for Noah. I think that's a good point. Who booked that for Stike Leather? Baron even speaking. Yeah, if all you're going to say is no, just get the fuck off my TV. Teddy Hart, he says Mojo's heel turn. He agrees with Noah. And the Harpy Sisters is what they should have named them. Who booked that? No Carmella in her one piece. Carmella, once again, champ is beaten to shit. Lying in the ring. Here's your chance to cash in. Still no cash in. Stike Leather says it on the board too. Who booked that? Corbin, no to Rude for Justin. I hope that Bobby just squashes Corbin, takes the title, and tries to bring some glory back to it. That's my goal, my hope. I don't know if it'll happen. Who got the rub? Stevie, start us off.
It's got to be Mojo. I guess it took him a while, but he finally got the rub. I don't know if it's going to be a good one for him, but it is what it is.
All right. Medine, who got the rub?
For me, it was the New Day who got the rub. They got the win, and they got to do the Christmas promo.
And by the way, this is the second week in a row that Shelton Benjamin has taken the pin. Why you bring him back?
To
If
take
he-
the pin.
Do that.
Right. You're killing
And help
any
Chad
credibility
Gable
this guy had because he is showing some rust, and now you're having him get pinned. Makes no fucking sense.
They keep Gable looking good by
Brandon.
him not getting pinned.
Brandon, who got the rub?
I'm gonna give it to Mojo. I kind of reluctantly, but I'll give it to him because I want to see what will happen from this point on with him, even if it's temporary.
Yeah.
Yeah. Smartest guy in the room, that's me. I always want to do something different for this one.
Right.
I'm going to go specifically with part of the fashion films. The who got the rub? It's obviously Breezango because the Ascension sacrificed themselves for him. That is the biggest
Damn it,
rub. They
no.
get to live,
They
man.
didn't
They
die.
get to
Maybe
live.
they come back as mutants.
Yeah, who got the rub? Justin on the board. He says New Day. Ruby Riott for pinning the women's champion. Kashmir said, yeah, last week it was just an attack. This week she pinned her. Who got the rub? New Day, Teddy Hart, the Harpy Sisters for Wet Harmonica, the Singh Brothers having a match with the WWE champion for Stike Leather. I want to go back to that Ruby Riott pinning the women's champion. At one time, it looked like after all this attacks and 3-on-1s that was going on, that Sarah Logan distracted the referee, Mandy Rose distracted the referee. Shit,
she
Liv
distracts-
Morgan,
yeah,
whatever the
everybody.
fuck blonde chick it is. Liv Morgan distracted the referee, and Sarah Logan assisted Ruby to get that pin. Why? They had been attacking the whole time. It felt so weird that the
Yeah.
ref's back was turned finally just for the end. Like now he might actually
that never
care and
happens.
DQ you. Yeah, the whole thing didn't make sense. Line of the night. I'll go last. Manine, you got one?
I actually do have one. Surprisingly, the landscape has changed. Mojo Riley.
You like that one?
I did like that. Yeah, I'm intrigued to see. I want to see if they can get him going in a good direction.
I think you're absolutely wrong with
Even
that. And,
even if he ends up as a mid card jobber.
yeah, that's just a dumb statement.
Okay, good.
And Brendan, I think,
Glad you
agrees
think
with
so.
me because I
don't
like what
think
he
he
said
does.
earlier. As soon as this is done with Zack Ryder, they have nothing for this guy.
Right.
He's going to be in the Rumble, and he's going to be future endeavored by the summer next year.
So he's to help Ryder get over more
Yeah. Again, I just think
more
you're
than
dumb.
he already is.
Come on, you guys. You got to beat this dead horse. That's what Noah says, line of the night from the
It's yeah,
Ascension.
Telly. Yep.
Yeah. What do you have over there, Stevie?
I got 3 big game trophies.
Yeah, in the Southern accent. Speaking of Southern accents, Brandon, what's your line of the night?
Big E singing.
Big
or
E
attempting
sing.
to.
Big E doing
That was-
anything.
Big E singing anything,
Right.
much less Sasha.
Yeah. Big E is just funny as fuck. Line of the night, Stike Leather on the board. Corey Graves telling Byron, you don't speak for me. Line of the night, Daniel Bryan saying hell no when KO was trying to back out of the match.
Probably good.
My line of the
candidate.
night comes from Daniel Bryan as well. I got a special little tickle. This happened at the very beginning of the show, and I wrote it down right away. Him telling Shane O'Mac that he is not a yes man. I found that hilarious because what does everybody chant for him?
Right.
They chant very simply.
Very ironic.
So it felt weird, and I kind of chuckled inside. 2 stone for Teddy Hart. He says, he is 2 stone to remember a line of the night. Well, at least he's 2 stone
Maybe
instead
that's
of
the
doing
line
a
of the
bunch
night.
of line of the night, right? This is the time when we play some other sound effects.
Housekeeping! Housekeeping!
Come back later, please.
Here are your marked out wrestling housekeeping notes and weekly schedule. Monday nights at 11:30 p.m. Join us for Monday Night Rawsome. Tuesday nights at 10:15 p.m. SmackDown. The weekly takedown. Thursdays at 5 p.m. where Brian Golda and Rhodey will react and review to the NXT broadcast on the WWE Network. Showtimes are for live YouTube broadcasts. All podcast versions will be available the next day on various podcast providers. Upcoming WWE pay-per-view specials and marked out shorts like Rhodey's Rant, Smarts vs. Marks, the Power Slam Dance Show, and Indy McIndy Face will be announced as they are scheduled. Feel free to join us on our exclusive Bubba Radio Army Network show, The Weekly Squash. Visit BubbaRadioArmy.com for listings. Keep the conversation going on Twitter using the handle @SmartMarkShow. You can call our fan line 704-444-0084 or send us an email, markedoutpodcast@gmail.com. Visit markedoutwrestling.com for all other social media networks. Get connected. Get connected. Get connected. Get connected. Get connected.
Go away.
Oh my God!
I said no! Okay, I clean?
No, get out of here.
I stick finger in your mouth? Housekeeping?
Okay.
Okay.
Fork. So, this is the time he misses Q. He hasn't called in, so we'll get to him when he calls in a minute, I'm sure. So we're going to go into our other segment. What are we doing?
We got This Week in Wrestling History, right?
Well, it was supposed to be kind of a.
And we got a review
report,
too.
A mud report. A this week. Oh wait, no, here he is. He finally called. Let's do this. All right, Noah. Here, I've got the sound effect loaded. Let's do this. All right, so Noah.
All right, hey,
what you said you had a speed round for us. Go ahead and call in and tell. Or now that you've called in, tell us what it is. I don't even know this, by the way, guys.
All right, don't worry. For once, it's nothing sexual. Well, kind of. All right, so in the show this morning,
Hurry up.
Thank you. Where I usually have.
Hurry up, or I'm going to cut you off. You're about to
In
get
the show this
gonged.
morning,
I know you
where
don't get that
usually have
reference.
Most of my best ideas. I found a question. This is the scenario. You get to go on a road trip that is going to be for over 7 hours. Now, you can pick any 5 wrestlers
Too many people in
women
the
on
car.
the roster to drive with you.
Noah,
Who do you pick and who sits where?
Noah, you understand the concept of speed round. You've been listening to the show for a while, right? So 5 wrestlers from 4 different
narrow it
hosts
down?
is not going to cut it. Give us we answer one person question. You got 10 seconds before I hang up.
Go ahead and hang up.
5, 4.
Good night, Noah.
3,
Thanks for listening.
2. Jeez.
Oh, man.
Noah says, hey, I got a speed round topic for you, and he calls in and gives us a homework assignment? What the fuck?
In 12 parts.
Yeah. Oh, my goodness.
Just play the This Week in Wrestling History.
Do
please.
what now?
Just play that fucking. Yeah.
Do what now?
Just play our sound effect for This Week in Wrestling History, please.
We'll do what now?
Play the fucking sound effect.
Do what now?
Maybe they can answer Noah's question on the board. The one they're not answering our questions.
This day in wrestling history.
All right.
Hey, you got your cue. That is awesome. It's first time.
You're so excited. You marked out just now for that
I
shit.
totally did. I'm like, this is the first attempt that Medine listens or can be trained in any way.
Aw.
I mean,
That's
I'm thinking a
awesome.
monkey is
We
easier
did
to
it.
train than
We
you.
did it. We did it, man. We
We
did it. So this week in wrestling history, the date November 28th. And we go back to our favorite. First question is, who beat who? Mr. Ass or Eddie Guerrero? Adam, Mr. Ass or Eddie Guerrero?
Eddie Guerrero.
Steve-O.
Mr. Ass.
Brandon.
Mr. Ass.
The answer, Mr. Ass.
All right, this is for me. That's for Stevie and Brandon.
All right. Number 2. How long did it take for Steve Blackman to beat Tiger Ali Sling?
Sling?
Sling,
Tiger
because
Ali
he
Sling?
beat his ass in a hardcore match, so you put him in an Ali Sling. Closest without going over. Time.
Stevie?
28 seconds.
All right. What do you got, Brandon?
2 minutes.
2 minutes. I'm going to go 2 minutes and 1 second.
Oh, yeah, Price is Right.
Yeah, I'm going to always go last.
You got it with the Price is Right shit. 3 minutes and 32 seconds, Adam. But buzz those guys.
That's for me. This time,
Noah
this is
should
for
have got
you.
it for sure, right?
Noah said 10 seconds. I think he was talking about how long he lasts in the shower. What else you got, Medine?
All right, quick. Where was this Raw held? Ames, Iowa, Des Moines, Iowa, or neither Iowa?
Stevie?
Neither Iowa.
Neither
in Iowa.
Neither for me, although I think it was the first one. What do you got, Brandon?
Brandon?
That's a weird
Neither.
multiple choice question.
All right. We
No.
got 2 neithers.
Buzz all of yourselves.
Where?
Ames, Iowa, which is an odd place to hold a Raw, but that was held in Ames, Iowa. Finally, November 28th. What year did this occur? 1998, 1999, or 2000?
You're fired.
Oh, I hit the wrong button.
You're such a dick.
That's what I meant to put. The middle one. Stevie?
1998.
Brandon?
98.
What do you got, Medine?
You're all wrong. This was November 28th, 2000. And that was your worst showing at this week in wrestling history.
Line of the night might get an honorable mention here from the board. Cashmere says, who the fuck goes to Iowa on purpose?
Right?
I
don't know.
He's right.
You gotta drive through it sometimes. But
It's just what it is.
So speaking of wrestling history, guys.
Wait. I got something first. We gotta go. Hitman's not here tonight because he's once again trapped in the archives. I got 2 episode recaps I want to go over real quick.
What?
Episode 30, the OG3 holding it down. You know who the OG3 is, Steve?
I definitely do.
It's me and the executive producer.
Oh my God, this could have waited.
No, it can't. The executive producer thinks the PED pop could end up being the end of Roman. He wishes. I compare Roman to Orton, and it will be swept under the rug, and he needs to turn heel. Roman ship is sinking. Everyone's confused by the draft. The executive producer and me think that JBL would make a great GM. I remember that discussion. JBL, at the time, his character could have done it. It was better than him as that stupid announcer is what we were talking about, I
Right.
think.
Oh, yeah.
The executive producer doesn't want Kurt to be a GM, rather get him in the ring. Well, I don't know that he would still feel that way after Kurt was rushed into the ring because of the meningitis?
Yeah.
I led another segment. Apollo got buried by the executive producer, Apollo gets buried, and the executive producer calls it disgraceful. That was when he was still rooting for Apollo.
Right.
You ask him now, he's
Now
like, fuck that
gave
guy.
up on him. Yeah,
fuck that guy.
Don't really fuck him, but. Yeah.
And the club versus Cino, Enzo, and Cass will be a wonderful program, says the panel. Man, we were wrong. Final thought. This show was jam-packed full of info. The panel just bounces ideas and thoughts off one another with the draft looming. Knowing the future has made this a very fun listen. This is before we got into dual shows.
Yeah.
Episode 31. Oh, God. Patrick's there.
No shit.
That can't be good. Adam and Brian think Finn moves up to be a secret draft pick. Did he go up in the draft? I can't remember how the fuck he went up.
He was, way up in the draft.
Yeah, Brian had some more CWC talk. Another edition of Rob Butcher's indie names. Yeah, Rob can't get some of those right. Patrick says, one day we will all learn all sports are rigged like wrestling. That was probably the only good point Patrick's ever made. Executive producer is okay on Make Darren Young Great Again. Yeah, how does he feel now? Some of these things are fun to look back on.
Yeah.
That's how we flip-flop. The Hardys' final deletion versus the Wyatt's Asylum. We were talking about that because they were airing back-to-back.
Yeah.
I thought it was weird that the
Comparison.
Wyatts decided to lynch some black people in a field while the Hardys actually got creative. Rob was confused by both. Of course he was. And then breaking news, we had 3 whole people watching. We've come a long way.
Yeah.
And Charlotte is the Roman of the women's roster we were talking about back then.
No, you were talking about
I was
that.
talking. Okay,
That's terrible.
I was the one campaigning about that. Final thoughts. This one is sort of just more recap than anything else, although the back and forth was good. Like always, it's sort of a blah episode. Wait, what the fuck? You're supposed to be plugging us. Nothing stood out to me minus the 3 whole people watching. Once again, thanks for listening to a man ramble on until the end of time. This has been Hitman. You know I'm always straight shooting. Thank you for Hitman Trapped in the Archives.
Appreciate it.
Medine, what did you want to talk about
Oh
now?
my God! I had the perfect segue from wrestling
You never
history.
have any good segue.
Wrestling history, and I went to Starrcade this weekend.
Well, here, I'll play the shit again.
Oh my God!
This day in wrestling
No,
history,
I don't need
Medine
to
had
hear
a
that
good
shit.
segue.
And you fucked it up with the archives from a Hitman. You could have waited.
No.
Anyway.
No, it's on the production sheet. You knew the fucking order.
Villains. Anyway. Shut up, bitch. Anyway, so Starrcade this weekend, on a whim, just decided to run up there. It's Greensboro. It's an hour and 15 minutes. Took the trip, spent about $28, upgraded the seats midway through the event. 8 matches. Pretty good. The good really was the NWA Legends. A lot of them showing up. Arn Anderson still does the best spine
You're allowed
buster
to breathe while you do this, by the
in
way.
the business.
He's excited about it.
Don't interrupt me while I'm
feel
going.
like he's
Don't
about to
interrupt
come.
me while I'm going fast, please. I'm trying to fucking help this along.
Well, if you didn't need to go so fast, if you didn't mention how much you paid for tickets and how far the drive was, just mention where it was and go
Arn
on.
Anderson with the best fucking spine buster still to this day on Dolph Ziggler. That was great. The bad was a 12-man tag. The glorious was the natural Dustin Rhodes. It was good to see him go back to his roots, and he got some airtime.
Was he wearing the Gold Dust outfit, just not the paint?
He did that. No, he did that. He came out as Gold Dust, and then at the top of the entrance, he sheds the Gold Dust uni, and he's underneath wearing the natural Dustin Rhodes. He has
Just the blue trunks?
No. He has chaps, the vest, the black vest, the red pants. Like, this goes back to early WCW days.
Okay, yeah.
With the blonde hair.
You know, I've never watched any of
Oh,
that.
yeah, no, this
when
is...
he was- yeah.
It was when he was
Country,
up and coming. He was on his own, but he was up and coming.
See, if you take breaths, you can allow us to make this better.
He was really good.
Yeah.
And it was great to see him out, and he was really emotional talking about his dad. And that was one of the other great promos. Another thing, who got the rub that night? I guess I'd say probably Charlotte, maybe, because she got just the huge pop being
See,
in town.
your brain can't keep up with you talking
But
fast.
then Ric Flair, coming out, he's looking like he's starting to get up there.
Age, yeah.
Yeah, he's lucky to have lived as long as he has and had a great as life as he has had, I would say. So, but then again, what else? I don't think really there was much else, but overall a good event. And just across town, there was also WrestleCade, and Brandon covered that. Brandon, tell us about what went on at WrestleCade.
See, that was a good segue.
It's like a 3-day type of event that happens in Winston-Salem, which is my home, and I've been going there for about, ever since it started. Founded by Tracy Myers. It's literally 3 days worth of, like, a Friday there was a showcase of champions, which is a lot of these indie promotions, but also some Lucha Underground stars there. Like, I know Pentagon Jr. was there, Phoenix was there, and they turned it out. They showed out, so that was a good night. Saturday was the main day where you had your meet and greet with over like 100 stars, including Mick Foley and Christian and Stevie Ray and Jerry Lawler, and later that evening was an actual card.
Brandon, what did you think about Christian? Can he still go?
Christian didn't wrestle; he was a part of the meet and greet.
Oh, okay.
But
okay. Sorry,
he was absolutely super cool. He was it didn't cost much to take pictures with him. Foley was awesome. Jerry was he liked the fact that there was 2 sets of titties that was with him, and that was with us. That was on both sides of him, so his grin was extra hard. He was probably thinking puppies in his mind.
Puppies.
But he was also cool. What was very funny was that there was and I just thought it was messed up, but it was funny in my head because Christian was at one table, and right next to him was Mick Foley. Right next to him was Jerry Lawler, and right next to him was Honky Tonk and Jimmy. The lines were, one was going from Christian, and then to Mick, and then to Jerry, and then they would just kind of walk around to like another station, and Ben would not really give Honky and Jimmy almost no love.
It was like a Virgil table.
Kind of sad, also,
Well, Honky,
But,
you
the
know,
card
is
itself
Lawler's
was
cousin.
good. The card itself was good. Ivelisse and Taya had the best match of the night. There was blood involved. There was a no holds barred match. It was absolutely awesome. And the main event was it was Eli Drake and Jake Hager is what he's going by now. He had his wife with him. That's the first time I'd ever seen his wife. And Johnny Morrison / Mundo / Impact.
Nitro.
And that was and Drake got the win on that one. Since we're doing, I guess, good, bad, and glorious and stuff, the good, like I mentioned, was Ivelisse and Taya. They beat the hell out of each other. You had chains, you had chairs, you had table spots. Like I said, Ivelisse got color. You had it all. And the match bad. It was at the Benton Convention Center. There were so many people, and they repositioned because they also are taping for Tracy's promotion called AML, America's Most Loved Wrestling. The ring was right in kind of in the center, and so it kind of repositioned all these lines to where we were all scrunched up and shoulder to shoulder. It was just so hot, and it felt like there was no air conditioning, no fan in there.
Yeah, it was nice this weekend, so I can imagine that.
It was just sweltering in that little place. But the glorious was, I would have to say, all the wrestlers that were there, for the meet and greet, because they were all just more than willing. There was a situation where Butch Reed backed out of the Doom reunion at the meet and greet that morning, because a friend of mine, he FedExed his title belt over to me so he can get it signed by Doom and Teddy Long. It was their first reunion in like nearly a decade or so.
Right.
So it was supposed to be huge. Butch backed out, and Ron and Teddy felt very bad about it. And they were like, well, we'll still take pictures with you, and I'll still sign this belt. He was just super, super, super cool with Ron Simmons, and so was Teddy Long. I know Teddy was trying to sell an action figure and a water bottle with his face on it. That was hilarious. But, the wrestlers were glorious. They were awesome. And the rub got to go to Tracy Myers for another successful event. He put the numbers out tonight where he said it was 55% was up for the Sunday events, which was like the Queen of Combats, the women's wrestling show. 30% up for the meet and greet, 7% down that evening. That was only because of Starrcade plus local hockey was going on, and that Friday was up like 30%. So overall, it was another success, and he definitely gets the biggest rep for all the hard work that he and his staff put in, the AML tapings, just getting everybody together. WrestleCade and Starrcade together needs to be now the yearly tradition. WrestleCade has been since 2011. Now that it's being said Starrcade is coming back next year. It's healthy competition, but it's also not an excuse. If you're a wrestling fan and you're here in the Carolinas, there's absolutely no excuse not to go to one or both.
Make it a whole weekend event thing.
Absolutely. At the show there was Ricky Steamboat, the Rock and Roll Express, Arn Anderson, Nature Boy Ric Flair, like I said, Dustin speaking on behalf of Dusty. It was definitely had that feel of the old NWA, and to combine that with what we saw, or with what Brandon saw at WrestleCade, is just the whole nostalgia of that era. That this region, especially, it's unprecedented here, and nowhere else in the country does it have that same type of feel.
Well, we're still in Flair country. It never really mattered if it was Crockett territory or Turner territory. This is Flair country,
right?
And it always will be. And Dusty, of course, is part of that because he was a big part of Mid-South Coliseum and everything they used to do there. I like that it's being kept alive. I'm glad that we have a little bit of that. Now we got one more.
got mail.
Noah on the board is playing Fuck, Marry, Kill as always when he gets bored.
I see that.
Good morning, everyone. This is an email we got from one of our fans entitled Gender in the Future of the WWE. It says, good morning, everyone. I hope this email finds you all well. Before I get into the meat of this issue, I wanted to say that despite all the change, I am still listening to your podcasts intently, which should be obvious. RJ Black may have some ideas I disagree with. Yeah, I'm sure.
Me too.
But I appreciate his divergence. Now to the meat. Since Jinder is no longer champion and it seems that the India experiment is not as big as it should have been, I reflected on how this could have happened. We could say that it was because Jinder is too green or that he lacked charisma and so on, but those are just symptoms of the bigger problem. WWE has no idea how to book a foreign champion who is not a heel. The real issue is that WWE wanted to open up the Indian market and they had the tools for it. They had a ripped monster in Jinder, a full creative staff, and the need to bring wrestling to over 2 billion people. What did they do? They make the representation of their entire culture an American-hating heel. He is booked not as an Indian or Canadian of Indian descent, but a modern remake of the Iron Sheik, which is a completely different culture and time period. Before I keep reading, I've been saying that for a while.
Yeah,
I think that if he was not a Canadian, if he was a true citizen, they would have bought in because Kali was a heel and Kali was over as Grover there. Back to the email. Could this have been averted? Yes. How? Follow the original Hulk Hogan model with some modern tweaks. Some may not remember this, but Hogan was originally a heel in ASA. It wasn't until he came to the WWE that he got fruity pebbled hard with bright colors and smiling and became the face of wrestling for a generation. Should that have been done to Jinder? Not completely, but some version where Jinder could have been made into a real modern-day Maharaja, a defiant yet benevolent champion, not like there aren't enough heels to work with. It's true, it's very tough to get over in today's WWE as a heel, or excuse me, as a face. If WWE wants champions that last, that matter, they need to rebuild how they book faces for a modern audience. You know which legends who get the biggest pops, the ones who were booked properly as faces at some point in their careers. That is absolutely true. I want to read that statement again. He says, you know which legends get the biggest pop? The ones that were booked properly as faces at some point in their careers.
Right.
It's true. That's his 2 cents from Parts Unknown, Robert Fork.
Yep.
So I agree with a lot of that in the email. I like the points that you made. One more final segment before we go into our final thought and stuff. It's our dumb shit our executive producer says. My dumb shit that I got for tonight is because while we were watching the no disqualification match, he suggested that they were going to bring out tax. On a SmackDown, you're going to let Randy take the tax. Randy, who hasn't taken the tax since he had to prove himself way back when with Foley in an Extreme Rules match.
Like 13 years ago.
Right? Is suddenly on a non-pay-per-view in an inconsequential match going to take tax. Sorry, that ranks up there high on dumb shit, our executive producer said. Do either of you guys got one?
Can't think of one tonight.
I know Brandon doesn't have one because he's never met the guy.
Plus, I don't want to get in trouble.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, you can get punished on Mondays. This is Tuesday land. Nothing can happen to you here, Stevie. Right. Medine, did you have one?
Nah, nothing came to mind.
Wow, you popped the fuck out of the mic, though, at least.
Yeah. Boom.
You are just terrible. You're terrible in all sense of the word. Final thoughts, board. If you want to throw in your 2 cents.
Ernie,
here is my final thought.
Mike Medina is terrible. It's absolute terrible.
Yeah, cool. Apparently, we are the only wrestling podcast that is too hot for YouTube, and that is because we are too hot for WWE. They banned us from YouTube, or got us banned, I should say, with this 90-day ban. And on top of that, when we tried to go on Facebook, they had us blocked there. According to our executive producer who did the research, it was WWE that filed the complaint against us that got us banned. So a little bit of a power trip. Do you guys, this is my final thought, is that not the ultimate fucking troll? Think about it. We got shut down by easily the biggest whatever.
On our best show.
And
it was going so well.
All these other wrestling podcasts are still broadcasting and stuff. Did they see us as a threat? Is that why they shut us down? Did they think that we were going to be bigger than they are? Did they fear?
I mean, we're not gonna be bigger than them, but I mean, at this, we're making ourselves heard. That's the problem.
Okay, but we're not ECW. We're not TNA. How are we even on Vince's radar?
Because of our executive producer.
Because we're so awesome? No, it can't be because they
yes,
No.
he speaks to the chairman directly. He speaks to the chairman directly at him, and you know it's true.
You have said way too many dumb things tonight.
That is not by far not a dumb thing that
That's
I just said.
not the dumbest thing by far, but it is a dumb thing.
But first of all, the dumbest things that Medine says is not one of these subjects here. We're talking about the executive producer.
You always
and the
go
executive
one too
producer.
far, though.
No, I'm not Noah. Noah goes one too far. I don't go far enough.
No, Noah goes one too far.
You never let me go far enough.
No, you jump the shark is how you go too far.
I
Noah
kill
goes
the
too
shark.
far like Andrew Dice Clay, teaching nursery rhymes to kindergarten class.
Anyway. So yeah, the executive producer speaks directly to Vince, and I think that's why it happened.
Juan says that Vince took us out because we made fun of Roman. Hey, we got taken out when we finally had a host who liked him. We haven't had that.
And granted, the executive producer doesn't
we
do
can't
it.
have people liking him.
No, we can't have people liking him.
Yeah, we haven't had that
Maybe
since.
that's it.
Hey, everybody. Rob wins.
That was the last time we had anybody who liked Roman on this show. So, I mean, we brought a new host in that could say something favorable about him, and what we got banned even quicker, maybe because of that. Interesting. Deep thoughts
Maybe
to
if
think
everybody
about.
started liking him.
So the board has just been like, fuck you people. We're just going to put a bunch of emojis on. Oh, Juan says it's because he doesn't like Jews. And he's probably had to deal with a lot of them with Hollywood
of course.
And network executives. The Jews seem to have a lot of power when it comes to Hollywood and Manhattan. I'm sure he tried to buy a property or the landlord of the WWE World, whatever the fuck that was, restaurant. Maybe that was a Jew shyster that screwed him out of some money. Who knows? I say shyster like I can say that. Hey, Julio Jones for Kashmir is the final thought. He wants to mention some fantasy football.
Hey,
didn't you make a hell of a comeback?
I did.
And who did you beat?
I beat the executive producer.
Yeah, you beat him. He thought he had the win. You know who else thought he had the win? Bob thought he had the win. I managed to have a huge comeback courtesy of the Steelers game.
Hey, everybody.
Yes. So, yeah, none of them wins. And
I was confused by it.
Yeah, well, it shit happens because you're just not that good at stuff. In any event, Noah says, fuck this, I'm going to bed. I am right there with you. Guys, thank you guys for joining us tonight. We got Rawsome coming up on Monday. We, of course, have us coming back on Tuesday. We're taking a break right now from TakeOver. We got some outside of wrestling scheduling conflicts and such. But what plan is to bring that back probably sometime in 2018. And, of course, we have, just to tease it out there, we've got our big anniversary show, 2-year anniversary coming up at the Rumble. Make sure you tune in for that one. We're going to have a lot of fun. Guys, thank you for tuning in. We'll see you the next time. Same smart time, same smart channel.
I'll catch you on the flip side.
Marked Out Podcast is recorded, edited, distributed, and marketed at U-Record Studios in Charlotte, North Carolina. For more information on optimizing your podcast for increased listenership, check out U-Record on Facebook, Twitter, and email sales@urecordstudios.com or visit the website www.urecordstudios.com.
Yes! 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 Yes!
You're listening to the Electronic Media Collective Podcast Network. Yeah, it's a mouthful. For more great shows, visit electronicmediacollective.com.
Go away, fat man.